A few years ago, I was absolutely stuck in this permission trap where I was waiting for everyone else to give me permission before I could move on to the next phase of my life or the next step or towards the next goal that I wanted to achieve. I literally remember working my ass off at work, getting nowhere. I was working so hard at home with my family, with my friends, and not getting anywhere, and feeling like my life wasn't expanding, my life wasn't changing, it wasn't moving the direction that I wanted to go into, and I genuinely was just not getting it. And I was waiting for permission. At the time, I really genuinely, honestly did not know that's what it was. I didn't know I was waiting for somebody to tell me it's okay, I can move on to the next step. Oh, well done. Gold tick. You can move on to the next area. Now you've done this. Well done. Move on to the next stage. Do you feel like that? That like you're just stuck waiting for permission. You're waiting for someone to say you did a good job and you can move on. Or waiting for someone to say, you've done everything you can in this relationship, in this job, this house, this community. It's time for you to move on to something new. It's time for you to try something else. Like we wait for everyone outside of us to make a decision and to tell us that we can go on to the next phase. That is what I'm talking about in today's video. I'm going to tell you how you can get out of this trap, how to stop waiting and just go and do your life. So stay with me. Let's get into today's video. So this permission trap, where does it come from? I honestly think it comes a lot from our society, of how we're brought up, of how we have to ask permission to do anything, to go anywhere. Even as children, we look up to our parents, our caregivers, and we wait for them to tell us we can do something, right? Like that's kind of normal. But the problem is, it then reflects and comes with us into adulthood, and it will come out in high school, it will come out in college and universities, our first jobs, where we wait and we look to those people in power above us, our colleagues around us, to make decisions for us and give us permission for us to go ahead and do something. I think it comes a lot from our family as well, our friends group, and we all like to sort of stay with the same people and doing the same thing. We get into this permission trap. It's like everyone is waiting for everyone else to give permission. Do you know what I mean? Like no one moves anywhere because we're waiting for everyone else to give us permission. So I want to share with you how I kind of came across, and this came out back in 2020. I had a very successful travel podcast for women, and it had been built up to 2020, and then we all know what happened in 2020. COVID hit, coronavirus, and everything came crashing down. For me, I could have carried on this podcast and shifted and moved with it. But I was just sort of not knowing what to do, not knowing whether to go forward or backward or change it or move. And I remember having a coaching session, a one-to-one coaching session with this woman. I think her name was Chris Ann. And I was telling her about it, and I was telling her I've done all these business courses, and now we're in 2020 and I'm doing, travel obviously wasn't a thing and I don't know what to do. And she stopped me and she said, why is it you are waiting for permission for everybody else? Why can you not give yourself your own permission? Why can't you do that for you? Why can't you give yourself your own validation? And I remember sitting there in this one-to-one session and just being like, huh? What are you talking about? What permission? What? And she was like, because you say, you've done all this research, you've done all this thing about business, you have this podcast, now you don't know what to do with it, but you've done all this research, you've done all this, everything you need to do for it, and you're waiting for someone else to tell you and give you permission to stop the podcast or to take it into a new direction. And at the time, I was a bit like, I'm not sure I am. But I came away from the call and I reflected on it. And she was right. She was absolutely right. What if you only need your own permission? You only need your own validation. We only need it from ourselves and nobody else. What would our life look like? How would things be different for us? I know you might be thinking the same thing. I was like, I don't need permission for to do anything. But actually, when we look at it really and look at a certain area of our life or whatever you're struggling with at the moment, who are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? What do you need someone to say to you? That it's okay to move on? That it's okay to change? It's okay not to follow the norm. It's okay to go in a new direction. It's okay to not be with that person anymore, right? Like, we absolutely do wait for permission for other people. This was the massive light bulb moment for me in my life. Oh God. And it started my journey right there and then of this massive self-discovery journey. I had been before for many years into self-development, personal development. I mean, I've got all the books, I've got hundreds of books that I have read, YouTube videos, seminars, the whole shebang. But it wasn't until I had that one-to-one session with her and she very frankly put it to me, you're waiting for permission for somebody else. What if you just give it to yourself? That it was the ultimate light bulb that shifted everything for me, that moved everything into alignment, that made me realize I wasn't living a life that was true to me and true to who I was and who I wanted to be now at that point. I had changed massively from being a solo female backpacker around the world to living in England and a normal life, 9 to 5, you know how it goes, and trying to build a business and waiting for permission for someone to say, you move on to the next stage. And so I ended up just repeating the cycle and repeating it over and over and over again and getting more information, more knowledge and building it up and not getting anywhere fast. So how I came out of that is I learned to approve of myself. I started saying to everything, what if I only needed my own approval? Or what if I only need my own validation? What would this look like? What would this be now for me? And that literally shifted my world. It shifted everything. And I made a decision there and then that I was going to stop waiting for permission and start taking action. Now, as if you've been watching any of my other videos, and I say this a lot, for me, action isn't about going, right, rip up my life and start all over again. Although some days, yes, I would quite like to do that. There's something very exhilarating in that for me. But it isn't about that. It's about doing small actions that over a period of time make up a bigger action, and it looks like a bigger shift and a bigger change in your life. That is what I'm talking about. And I started making just small changes. I mean, really, really small, by the way. I hadn't realized how much I was waiting for someone to give me permission until she said it. And then literally, it's like looking at your life and being like, is this why everything is the way it is? Is this why I'm still in this job that I absolutely detest and I'm so overeducated for, overqualified for, and I keep doing this job waiting for someone to say, yeah, you can progress to the next stage. So that's how I started to live my life, by taking these small little baby step actions to start shifting and making changes. I went from nice girl image, waiting for permission, being a bit submissive and a bit passive, to actually, I am deciding to be the creator of my life. I am deciding to take the reins of my life and go all in. I am deciding that for myself. And again, this wasn't like, boom, overnight, I'm a fully empowered female and off I go and live my life. It wasn't. It was a, oh my God, I'm going to stand up for myself at work today. I'm going to say no to that task when someone's going to give it to me. And I'm going to say I'm ready for a bigger challenge. I'm going to look for a new job that is higher than I'm currently doing. And I'm going to move out of this nice girl syndrome. Nice girl syndrome. If you want to know more about nice girl syndrome, I can put a video at the end of this one. You can go and watch it. I've done loads on being the nice girl. Yeah. And that's how I started to change. I started to change my mindset and started to change my outlook of how I looked at all of my life. The action that you take does not need to be perfect, by the way. Just taking action is all you need. Again, I say this so much, but there is no such thing as inspired action. If you're waiting for inspirational action, you're going to be waiting a long time. Just take action. Just make baby steps. Just do something. And that will help. It always starts building up momentum. So it doesn't need to be perfect. I'm a massive overthinker. I've done videos on this. You can go and go onto my channel and have a look. where I've been so paralyzed by thoughts, by what I should do and where I should be going, that I don't do anything. You procrastinate so much that you just don't move at all. That's not what this is. This is about just taking action, even if it isn't perfect. It never, ever, never, ever needs to be perfect. Just take some action. You then really want to trust the process. Trust the process of life. Trust that when you've taken action, things will start to unfold. Trust that you now have been made aware that you wait for permission, that you're waiting for permission. Now that awareness has been brought to your attention, you can start making progress. You can trust in the process of life and trust that things are going to come to you when they need to come to you at the time, the divine time, that they will arrive at your door, and you can go ahead and go and do whatever it is that you want to do. This does break practice, but I really, really recommend that you just start diving in and you make a decision. You make a decision and you take small action. If you want to take some small action, go and grab my free self-discovery guide down below. It's going to take you out of being this nice girl, waiting for permission, to a woman that will take action on her life, take the reins of her life and start being in control, and start to say, like, no more to this nice girl image, no more to me waiting for permission for everyone else to come and say, yeah, you've been a good girl this year, you can progress on to the next stage. No, you do it for yourself. That is what we're talking about. I'll put it down below. It's completely for free. Go and grab it. It's going to help you move forward. Make that be the action you take today, that small imperfect action that you take today. Just go and get it done and get moving. You will be so freaking glad that you did. You don't want to miss this chance. You want to go all in and go and do it. It will feel so freaking good. That's what I have for you today in today's video. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and liking this video. Let me know what it is for you that has kept you stuck. What is it? Who is it that you're waiting permission from? Who and for what? What is it you need to hear? Let me know in the comments below. I would absolutely love to hear. Again, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and watching this video, and I'll catch you all in the next video.